Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are playing Ooblets again. My name is BaritheScari. Today we are playing days 11 through 15 and we get quite a bit done in that time. I feel like in this game in general, it's kind of nice because you can choose, how fast you want to work through things. Or however slow, you could take it leisurely. I like to just kind of get stuff done when I can. We do start out day 11 where it is no longer the Halloween event. I'm sad about that as I was not able to get nearly the amount of items that I would like to, but I'm assuming that these are yearly events that occur. So we are starting out this video just by me taking off all of my Halloween items, taking off all of the Ooblets outfits for Halloween, and then I store all of those away so that they are not taking up all of this space in my inventory. And then I also take off the decorations from the house. I do leave up the pumpkin decorations at this point. I believe it was November at this time, so I was like, oh, it's still kind of seasonal. I then head out to do some gardening. I did see some items around Woody where it did seem to break some of those items in the area. I still honestly don't totally understand how those little ooblet houses work, and how to get them to do work. I then headed to the center where I saw the new holiday or event setup, as at this point they had set up for kind of just like the wintry event, which is Gotsipons, and what you need are festive baubles. So I was just kind of taking a look here to see what that looked like. They have lots of cute wintry items. Here I'm picking up the first festive bauble, which do regenerate kind of quite often, so you can kind of keep running around. I then talked to Outgrid, who, once again, always very interesting people to talk to. In Kabamban, I then find this receipt to go to my collection of found notes. I then also see that there's a backpack. I believe this was the first time I noticed that. So it is nice to see that there is an upgrade to my little storage pouch. I then headed to Manatwi to kind of see if they had any chests. I do finally realize in this video how to buy a chest, so I apologize that I don't understand at this point. I then collect the cans of the day, and then here you'll see I'm going around to collect some more festive baubles. I'm also collecting mushrooms to prepare for the Halloween event for next year, so I'll be totally ready to get all the potions. Which I feel like in this game in general, is good to just collect everything you see. It just depends on how much energy you have. I then donate some items to the printing press, repair, and then head to Aura's just to take a look around because I'm nosy. And I find a potion to increase chances of riding elevators alone. And I feel like Aura, Aura and I are like kindred souls in a way. I then check out the Wildlands board, as one of our tinsel tasks is to get this to level 6. Today's was super simple, of just collecting cans in the Wildlands, so I headed there immediately and collected all of the cans, as this is an easy enough task to just cross off the list. So there's me completing it. I then head to the Badgetown Oobnet Tower to finally see what that's all about and see how we can go about repairing this tower. This brings a whole scene up with Tinsel where she basically explains that this is kind of like the internet, a way to communicate with others in other towns. I think this is a really cool feature in this game with what it brings to the game. So once that scene ends and you enter, it brings about a dance challenge from Clomper, who has taken over the Ooblets Tower. So of course we have to go ahead and do a dance battle. I do enjoy how it's not always, once you have, 5 ooblets, that it's not 5 every time, it just kind of changes. So then you can kind of pick and choose who you want to battle it out. So this dance battle was actually really like crazy close if you see how close they are to winning. And thank goodness I just pulled it out in that last round. I was honestly sweating that, and I don't know what happens when you lose. I assume that they're just like, oops, try again, and then you could try again at some point. I just don't know what happens to your ooblets. So at that point, we did have Shroomy, who did level up, and it's really cool because when they level up, they get additional dance cards, like specialized dance cards. After that, I then pulled the switch to turn on the Ooblet Tower, and womp womp, it doesn't really work. How unfortunate. And then we learn that the other towers actually need to be restarted before we can get this one to go on. She tells me about Mamoonia, which I can get to by Gimble's balloon, which this entire time we were just, I was just like, what can we do with that balloon? So at that point, we have completed this tinsel task, which is always nice to check another off. I then headed to the learnery after that to check in with Ara, as I had a task due with her with the Borgeses, I think that's how to say it. So I gave those to her so she can make a potion, and she paid me in gummies, which I will always never say no to. I then found an abstract, once again, in the learnery. There's always a new abstract, I feel like, every time I go there, which makes sense. And then we scanned Chica, and we received our payment of 100 gummies. Heck yeah. At that point, I headed to the Plenty's board where I completed an order to make some more gummies, because I will try to get as many as possible. I would like to save up for that backpack, but then of course I immediately spend them as I see that the cloth plant seeds are on sale. So here you don't see me buying all of them, but I end up buying all of them. And then as I'm doing some gardening to plant the cloth plant seeds, I earn another badge. I wonder how many badges there are in total, but this is the harvest 50 crops, so it is the farming too. I earn my wishies, and then I head to the crunchster where I decide to make some muzz flour, as we do need those for the, I forget what they're called now, but they're kind of like hot dogs with the carrot or carrots or the spicy, what would they be, like the little peppers. I then headed back into the town, and I found this little note in the center of town, and headed to Cuddle Cups where I found a payment past due. I feel really bad because I never buy anything from Cuddle Cups, and they sound like they're having a rough time. I then headed to the center and got my first gachapon, and I got a sweater. So I did not realize that it was all randomized. I thought it went in order. So that was on me, but it was really fun to see how that works. I then checked out Gimble's balloon and started this task, just to see what all was necessary. And Gimbal kind of goes off and explains, that this balloon can take you all over the place. But we need to, once again, donate items to repair this, as seems to with most things, which is why it's good just to pick up what you can whenever you can. I headed back to my house where I just quickly picked up the muzz flour, and Kitty, and then I headed outside. I put on my new holiday sweater, which is so very cute, very Ooblets with the music notes. And then I headed to sleep at this point to end out day 11, which had honestly quite a bit happen. Here you can see the daily summary. I feel like these are always really fun to see what all you did. Okay, on to day 12. So today we had mail. Basically, Vidian is just thanking us for putting the mystery cans in the reconstitutor. We then do some gardening. As usual, I cannot wait until I can make the little sprinkler system at this point, because I do try and garden quite a bit so I can have quite a bit growing. I would really like a larger garden, but I need sprinklers at that point. I then find a pompadour seed while clearing out some of the yard, which that is a first of that seed, which is exciting. I then decide at this point to test out cooking for the first time, and I make a hop 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 dog, because why not? It gives you 25 energy, and it's pretty simple, to be honest. I think the most difficult part is the musk flour. I then finally head to town for the day, collect the cans. I head to Cuddle Cups, where I find immediately that you can sell the Hop 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 Dobs there, which I guess makes sense because it is a food place. I can't remember, I may have sold that. I think I sold it to get more gummies, and then I proceeded to buy some coffee. I bought some bean juice. I then headed to Ara's printing press, and I donated the last item so that we could get that fixed, to which we get a little scene where Ara's very excited, as now we can start our town's friendship sticker supply back up, which actually is a really cool system. This completes the tinsel task of fixing that. I then head to the Wildlands board to see what is needed, and this is also a very simple day, as we just need to water the flowers again, which is probably one of the simplest tasks, as well as the clearing the cans. And then I go ahead, water those flowers, and complete that task of the day. So then I head around to be nosy in the different houses, and I find a Mimkins token. I also find a Peak Snubs token, and I do wonder what I will be doing with these tokens as I'm finding them. And then I find another Mimkins token, a recipe piece, and then I head to Patrick's to say hello. Now here you'll see that there is a friendship bar, which is brought about by this printing press. Here I find a hairdo concept. I think the friendship meters are now really cool to have, as it brings, the feature you see in most games, but we had to unlock that, which is cool. I had then went to Kabambons, I found a receipt, and then I went to Manatwi, found a review, and when we talked to Sprin, she has lost her clomper, so we have to head around and look for where her clomper has gotten to. So I ran all around town until I noticed in the bush. I was like, that's a clomper. So I go up and I retrieve it. After I find it, I head back to Spring immediately to give that back, and she gives me 200 whopping gummies. Like, heck yeah. And it also gave me a huge friendship boost, so that was very nice. I then headed to the Gotsta Ponds and I got a couple new items. We got a beanie. We received a festive icy lavender exterior. And I'm trying to go from the different machines to kind of mix up what I'm getting, even though it doesn't really matter. I got a striped red scarf, which was really cute. And then I immediately went and put them on. Definitely cute items. I love how they do these seasonal events. I then went home, put together the recipe, which we unlocked button soup. I then cooked some more hop 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 dobs so that we have those because it's good for energy, but just in case I want to sell them as well. And then I headed to sleep for the day. I feel like that one definitely had less going on, but I feel like it's crazy just the same. As you can see, once again, all this stuff that was found, cooked, planted, all that stuff. And we did level up at this point, earned some new tinsel tasks that we will then work on. So that will be fun to see what comes next. So then we move on to day 13. So on this day, we have to do some gardening. We then head to town. I like to check now in Meads to see what is on sale of what we can buy. Today's root seeds, and I decided maybe not today. I then chat with Mead, who asks for some lopola flowers, and she gives me some seeds to grow some of those. So, of course, I don't think you have the option to say no, so I get those seeds. And then I head around town to take a look around. I find some cans, pick those up. I talk to Tinsel, who tells me about the Oobnet homes, and then I get a new badge after talking to her. To which we learn that from this new friendship sticker kind of time, these are friendship points that we are earning now that when we talk to them. So that is cool. I then headed to the dance barn, which was one of the new tinsel tasks, and I talked to Basil about this, which brought about a scene where he is his normal self, and I'm just like, hey, Tinsel told me to fix this up and get it started again, to which he was like, we're gonna need items, and he is his normal dramatic self, which is normal, and I have to collect more items to donate. I then headed to the Wildlands to see what was needed. They needed a wiggle whip to be added. This time I understood what was necessary for this, so I went to find the wiggle whip in the world that day, started a dance battle. This was definitely an easier battle than the last one, thank goodness. And so we beat them pretty easily, which was nice. Once again, I seem to keep forgetting that you need to plant the seeds they give you before you can actually get them. So that's always a bummer. I then headed to Kabonbons, found another receipt, talked to Charles. I then sped this section up. I realized I had a lot of wishes to use, so I went into the wishy menu to kind of look at what to get. I got the Oobnet blueprint too, I believe. I also realized that I probably didn't buy the best stuff at this point, because part of me wanted to get some of the cool stuff, but then I had other items that were just kind of there, and I was like, maybe I should just buy those first. I really should just gone for all of the good items that I wanted, like more energy, but that was a lot of wishies. I then headed back to the Gatsapan uh, in the center to use some more of my festive baubles. And I went all around. I kind of skipped ahead, as you'll see some of the items I have when I change outfits. I then headed to Patrick's, spoke to him, found a new hairdo concept. I was kind of glad to see in the wishes item that you can get more hairstyles unlocked as you go along, so that's fun. I then headed to Doubles, where she asked for 5 planklets to make a sign. So I had to quickly run back to my farm to go collect those. And then I headed back to Cuddle and Cups and I gave her those items. And we got some bean juices, which was very nice, and we got a lot of progress towards the next sticker. And when we exit, you'll see just how cute that little sign is. I didn't realize that was new until after the fact. I then went home and finally realized I had the festive outside to use, and it's so cute. I was so excited to see that. And then at this point, my character was falling asleep because I feel like we just run out of energy so fast. So we headed to bed. And the friendship points earned, we earn quite a bit every day, which is always so nice to see. And I do try and talk to people a lot more now that that feature is unlocked. It's kind of like an incentive. On day 14, we start out by gardening. Once again, we have quite a bit to garden as I'm trying to collect items to donate, items to sell at Plenty's. It's just a lot of items that we need all over the place. I then collect the daily cans. I go and talk to Sprin. She's always very interesting to talk to. And we see another note in the Ooblets replacement box. I then head to the balloon where I have the rest of the items that are needed to repair this kit. So I donate those and complete the balloon. So Gimbal's a little confused about like what is this stuff for, and it's like, well, what you told me you needed it for to complete. So that was nice. She said we needed an additional day. I was very excited at that point. So then I realized I had to head home, as at that point the Wiggle Whip would be completely grown. So we did collect them. Look how very cute. After collecting, I quickly took the Wiggle Whip to the learnery so that we could scan. We do find an abstract first, as per usual. And then we head to have the Wiggle Whip scanned while we have them, because we might as well get the reward while we have it. I love their little look in their eyes as they're just standing there. So we receive those 100 gummies. I then check out the new tinsel task of helping to set up the Hanker bot, which I'm still a little confused at this point of how that works. To be honest, Magnolia says he's dead, which is right away very rough to see. I was just like, what? But he's a robot. This is an unfinished prototype, and he needs certain items in order to finish him up. So once again, we have more items that we need. We're then running around to be nosy to collect items. We find a friend buttons token, which look how very cute that is. On the left side of the screen, you will see just how many different tasks we are currently working on, which is quite a bit. I then head to the Wildlands board to return the Wiggle Whip. And off they go. Have a good, happy life out there, bud. So we are able to get this up to level 3, which is very exciting. I did notice that we also have the option to take back the Wiggle Whip if we wanted, but I'm just gonna leave it there for now. I then headed to the learnery, donated some items towards Hankerbot just to get that going, and then I realized I had a lot of Nernies, so I decided that I might as well complete some of the figurines. Um, at this point, I had enough Nernies for all of the figurines, so I just went through and I printed out the four that need to be printed still. Here's little Rexy's little figurine, just so cute. I then headed to the uh, Tinsel's, office, and I donated all of these to the museum area. 3 out of the 4 were all in one, and then Dumburb went with Kitty, and they all look so cute. I then visited Tinsel's office where I found a note about a notice of investigation due to reported violations. And it says that the town will be disincorporated and its residents relocated, which is definitely scary to read. And I was like, what is going on there? And nothing really comes about that at this point. I then head home, where here you can see some of the new items I unlocked. I unlocked some pajamas, so I do put those on. I cook some of the, I check out some of the recipes that are newer, and then I make a quib tart, as we had the fructose and some quibs to make that. And I do want to try and cook one of every item that there is, and then we head to sleep in our jammies. So here is the summary of day 14. We are halfway to getting to the next level at this point. I feel like we level up pretty fast. So day 15 arrives. Once we wake up, we are alarmingly alerted of a tinsel task completed. Not gonna lie, I may have jumped while playing the game when we got that. And then right away we had mail, where they tell us, or double tells us, that spring beans are worth more at Cuddle Cups if we sell them there, which honestly I would feel bad selling them because they have such money problems. But I guess that's just game mechanics. We then did some gardening as a lot was ready to harvest. I then headed to Kabambond to take a look around to see if there was anything that I wanted. I found another receipt, chatted with Churls. As usual, I headed to Manatwi to chat with Sprin, and she is the first one that I level up with, and I receive a sticker for this, which I still need to put on my list of figuring out what we do with the sticker. She proceeds to also give me a bunch of annoying objects to use. Just listen. The town's gonna hate me. So, very annoying sounding objects. I don't know why she gave that to me. I then check out just what is on sale to see money wise, and I find this is the chest that we need. And I, this entire time, thought that this was just a random treasure chest where you get like an object, but no, that's the actual chest. So I feel a little dumb about that. So then I head back out to town. I collect the cans of the day. I want to go talk to Melda, sorry, and accidentally sit down, where she tells me that her Petula has been lost. So I set out to search, immediately finding her at the top of the staircase. So I grab her. I go to run down the staircase, not realizing that I ran right past Melda, and then I run back up to be like, hey, she was right there. And she gives me a whopping 200 gummies, so apparently doing little tasks for them is the best thing ever. I then go to the dance barn where I give the rest of the items necessary to repair that. And then we talk to Basil, who's a little confused about why we are doing all of this. And he tells us that he will have to hire some people to repair this and then get it going for us. So then at this point, I check out the wildlands. We need a clomper seed, to which I already had one. So I ran back home, realized I had enough recipe pieces to put together a new recipe, which is muesli. So I made that, and then I collected the clomper seeds to bring to the wildlands board. So while playing the musical instrument at first and then getting annoyed by it, I then run to the board, donate the clomper seed, and give ourselves 25 out of 100 to get to level 4. We then head to Gimbal to check out Mamoonia for the first time, as the balloon is now ready to go, and at this point I was very excited to see what Mamoonia was all about. So we are brought to this cute little map, which I love the art style for, and we unlock a new location. At this point it appears like there may be 2 more locations to unlock on the map. And here we land in Mamoonia, which is a desert kind of land. Kind of reminds me of like a New Mexico with the buildings. We are also told that if we need to return home, freshen up our ooblets or anything, we can. And here it was like, okay, that's interesting. Like, I wonder why she's stating that. And we've received an alert of a new badge. There was a little difficulty with getting the badge at first, but then it goes through. We receive the Exploring 2 badge for getting to Mamoonia, and we get 200 wishes, which is quite a lot. I then talk to the Mamoonia resident, who, their name is Denmark, who explains that they are not able to get into the Ooblets tower that they have here because they do not have the keys to get in on the keypad. So you are given the task of collecting all of these keycaps for them. So right away we go along the path and we run into Brighter, whose one Ooblet is wearing a keycap. So we tell them, hey, this was stolen. You know, we kind of need that back because it's kind of useful. And they challenge us to a dance battle. And you can see the different Ooblets that they have here. So right away we start out by winning this pretty dang easily, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a piece of cake. Doing all these, I was a little worried that because it was in a different area that it'd be more difficult. So then we continue down the path and we run into the next person, Pub Rock, who also wants to have a dance battle. Once again, this battle was pretty dang easy. I did notice that a lot of these Ooblets will use card moves that over time would give them a lot of points, but at the certain point that they're at, it's not too bad. I then moved along the path to find Automat, who is the third one, and here I'm expecting for it to be another dance battle, but instead they want 10 bean juices. And unfortunately, I thought this would be something where I could run away, and here you can see anytime that I try to continue down the path, it forces me to run back, and Automat's like, hey, do you have those bean juices for me? And I have to be like, nope, sorry, I don't. So at that point, the only choice was to run back to Badgetown as I need to get some more bean juice to continue the journey. I immediately headed to Cuddle Cups where I did buy the bean juice. I believe I bought as much as possible, which was only 3 that day. There you only see me buy 2 because then I got distracted and read the note, which was about credit. Um, but I did buy that third one before I headed home, got into my pajamas, and went to sleep. So that is going to wrap up this episode. The next one, I'm hoping to finish off Mamoonia. It's been super fun. If you joined, thank you so very much. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. All right, bye.